ඉතින් අද අපි ආවා ගෝල් මයින් ටුවර් එකක් එකයි යන්න ඕගොල්ලොන්ට. අපි ගිහිල්ලා බලමු කොහොමද කියලා.
ටිකට්ස් ගන්නවා තිබ්බේ.
We make here. Huh? Shine.
photos. දේවල් පටන් ගන්න තැන තියෙන එක මේ පරණ ඒවා මේක දැන්ට නම් මයිනින් කරන්නේ නැහැ කිව්වා. නමුත් අපිට ඇතුළට ගිහිල්ලා ඒවා බලන්න පුළුවන් කලින් මයින් කරපුවා. අපි මේක මිෂනරීස් මේවා 1950 ගණන් වල වගේ 900 නම් පටන් ගලා තින්නේ. ඒ දවස්වලදී විච් ඒවා දැන්ට වැඩ කරන්නේ නැහැ. මේ බොහොම පරණ ඒවා. ගිහිල්ලා බලමු.
Jambala.
Yeah. මෙතන තියෙනවා තා මොකක්ද දෙකක්. මේකට ගිහිල්ලා බලමු.
මොකද බලන්නේ?
Parang mining history. මේ තේම්ස් කියන්නේ වෙන පරණ සිටි එකක්. ඒ පරණ දේවල් තමයි තියෙන්නේ. හිස්ටොරික් දේවල් මයිනින් සිටි එකක්.
Produced very accurate knowledge of the gold content of samples. A sample was crushed and 300 grams were weighed.
Yeah, we were just in there.
Yeah, I think kids have time to play ball like these guys. Come here. Whoa!
Have machineries teach it. zinc precision bar. තියෙනවා forming a gold deposit රත්තරන් deposit එක හැදෙන විදිහ මේ නිව්සීලන්ත වල gold තියෙන තැන් rocks the passion. Two keys flat Thames gold field. They're making අස්සන කොළ වැටිච්ච ගහක් තියෙනවා මේ දෙන්න ඉන්න මෙතන ඕටම් එකේ හින්දා කොළ හැලිලා quartz mining හරි ඒකට හදපු ස්ටෝර් රූම් එකක් එන්න පුරා බැගිරලා මේ තියෙන අතහැරලා දාපු පතරක් මේ තියෙන අතහැරලා දාපු පතරක් do not enter කියලා තියෙනවා පොඩ්ඩක් enter කරලා බලමු නම් තියෙන එතනින් තමයි අපි ආවේ මේ පතර දැන් කට්ටිය ඉන්න අතන්ට වෙලා මේ යන්න ටැක්ස් වලින් ඊළඟ ටුවර් එක තව ටික වෙලාවකින් අපිට ඒ ටුවර් එක යන්න පුළුවන් පොළොව යටට ඒකට ඩොලර් 20ක charge එකක් ගන්නවා එක්කෙනෙක්ට මුත් අපි ගිහිල්ලා බලමු කොහොමද තත්ත්වය කියලා දැන් තමයි අපි ආවේ
No, yo, we're going for diamond for diamond. Oh, we're going for a diamond. Don't play like a diamond. I was going for 10 mil. I was going for 10 mil. Oh, look like you're fine.
ඉතින් මේ වෙන් අර try කරන්න පුළුවන් ස්මයිල් මොන කරන්න පුළුවන් I got it.
Yeah. So it's just
පතරම් තියෙනවා
චිෂ් බල
mining experience එක තමයි ගන්න
අතරෙන් කැල්ලද
තමන්ගේ පැත්තෙන් එළියට
එළිය පැත්තට තමයි
බබාටත් ඕනේ දැන් ඒක කරා. බබා ගෝල් මයින් එක.
අත් දෙකෙන්ම.
That's my. අනේ කතාරිය. Welcome to Visions. ඉතාලලා දාපු මම හිතන්නේ. මෙතන උඩින් තමයි මේ යන්න තියෙන්නේ මයින් එකට. ඉන්නේ මෙතන එන්ටරන්ස්. කට්ටිය මෙතනින් තමයි ඉදිරියට එන්නේ. යන තැන්. එන්ටරන්ස්.
Hey, the cookie.
මේක හැදෙනවනේ මෙයාට.
එන යට එන්නේ. टॉर्च එක ගන්න.
ටෝච් එක.
තරක
ඕනේ.
ගන්න.
Wait a minute.
මයිනින් කරන්නේ. ඔන් කරන්න.
So basically, they would dig the gold, the quartz and the gold, which is mixed. This is your quartz, and your gold would be in something like that. Like that. There's little sparkles in there. It's better when the sun's out. And what would they do is they dig it out. It would come out that shaft and be dropped into a little drum thing or a bin. They would take the bin to the end of the road. And then there's railway lines that run up there, and they pull it up by hand or push it up, and it'll come up. As you come out, if you look back, you'll see there's a shed up here. So they bring it to the shed and come across, and it'll be tipped into the big hoppers, which I'll explain when I come back. The big hoppers, they hold over 10 tons. And then basically, and at the top of there, there's this called a rock crusher. Now, the rock crusher will start, you'd end up, they put things like that into it, and you would end up with tennis ball size. It would just break them up. And from that, it would be dropped by gravity, because that's why they use the gravity to drop it down into the hoppers. So I'll leave that there, and when we come back, I'll explain that part. So we're going to wander down this way. It's going to be a hassle. So what I'll do is I'll try and do a little group first. Yeah, like I'll squeeze in, you can squeeze past, and there's a lot of squeezing in there. So, okay. Right, so we're coming this way. Okay, so basically we're going through. It's a little bit bumpy, and there's also we go up some stairs. There's a handrail. Hang on to the handrail. Now, because it's such a big group, I'll explain things here. In this area, under here, there's 14 kilometres of mine shafts. You will see that because when we get further in, I'll show you one that's probably about that far above your head, and that's what happens, and they're beside each other and things like that. In the Thames Coromandel area, there's 4,000 mine shafts that go in. Okay, and at the height of the time, there was 15,000 miners working in this area. In the main street of Thames, they had 120 pubs or hotels for them to drink at, and it's only a short street. So, but that's the way it was. So when we go through, I'll try and explain things as we go through. Any questions, just ask, and I'll answer. Go on there. See how you can tell that they were Cornish miners, they were professional miners, okay? You right? Yeah. Everybody all right? We've got a bit of a speak one. Okay, so basically, see how well the mine, how square they are. That's the professional miners. That's the Cornish miners. Okay, they knew what they were doing. As we get in further, you'll find it gets a bit rougher when the New Zealanders took over. Okay, and it is noticeable, believe me. So anyway, we'll carry on through here. You right? I'll explain this to you guys, and then if you just go stand down the end there. Okay, this is iron ore. Okay, the iron ore seeps through the soil. There's no water here at the moment, but usually there's a puddle, and it's a rusty colour. And that you see around Thames, there's a lot of rusty-looking water. And that's what it is. It's just the iron ore out of there. Okay. Right, if you guys just want to carry on down to the end here, I'll just. I'm going to put some water in there. Yeah, so easy. Basically, you've got the iron ore up here. Okay, and that's the person. You want to go say hello? Tell her hello. And what they would do, first of all, there was a steel wheelbarrow with the steel wheel. There was no wooden tracks because the Cornish miners, they didn't want to spend the money on wood because it was an expense, and they only had their life savings when they came here. If they didn't find gold, they didn't eat, then they had to go get home. And so basically, and what he would do, this guy at that age would push this little cart up to anywhere to 2 kilometres up into the hills or more. This weighs about 500 kilos, and when they put the rails in, it made it easier for them because it had a candle. Oh, it had a candle, but of course once you start moving, the candle blew out. So basically, he worked in the dark 10, 12 hours a day in the dark. But once they put the rail in, he knew that it would never fall down. Now these here, these mines haven't been changed. These are original pick marks from the mines. Okay, and they're all through the caves and things like that. And they're looking for quartz, which I'll show you a quartz vein. But some days they would only go up to 8 inches into the clay because the clay was quite solid. So it was hard work. And he would do this until he built his strength up enough to become a miner. And when he became a miner, that's when he would start, well, he'd get a percentage of the gold and that, but start earning. But like, they'd find a quartz vein, but it didn't mean that they would actually find gold. It was their best chance of finding gold, was a quartz vein. Now up here, sorry, this mine here, this mine is the Golden Crown mine. This shaft leads up to the Caledonia mine. The Caledonia mine was the richest mine in this area. It's rumoured that in 1 month they got a ton of gold and bullion out of the thing, which is gold and silver mixed. Okay, and in 1930 New Zealand was in a recession. They had no money and things like that. And the gold within these hills, Coromandel and up, is what pulled them out of the recession. So basically, Coromandel, Thames saved the country. The Thames was actually going to be the capital, but for some reason it didn't.
Let's open it up again then, because I think we might need a bit of.
Might need a bit more, I reckon. Mate. Yeah. We've still got the mining rights here. They could mine again. Yeah. But because we've only got 5 stampers going, and it wouldn't handle it. No. You know, because there's 20 stampers in this building. Should be 20 in this building, and up in the hills there were 47 other stamper pads or stamper sheds. So nearly 1,000 stampers going in the Thames Coromandel area. All right. Anybody? Any questions? Easy ones.
Why did they stop mining?
Oh, sorry. They stopped mining around the 1950s because the price of gold dropped, and it just wasn't worth getting it out. But now it's gone back up. Yeah. But it would take. The problem in the Coromandel is they want to start remining, but how do I say this nicely? The people that love the coromandel don't want them to do it because they reckon it'll wreck the coromandel.
Okay.
But I don't know if any of you ever been to Waihi,
Yeah.
the open cast mine. You don't even know that's there.
No.
You know, but if they mine underground, I don't see the problem. And
Yeah.
if they start up in the back of the hills, I just don't see. But you know, I do live here now, so I suppose I'm becoming one of them. I don't want to. I don't like the marina they built. You know, so.
And what was the purity of the gold? Like,
Oh, sorry. Yep. The gold in this mine, this one here, was about 40% pure. And the Caledonia was around the 70% pure. So it was a richer mine. The gold was better up there, which is really strange because it's not that far away. Yep. Okay. All right, we'll move on to the next one. Just try and see the shorter ones at the front.
oh my God.
One of the tall ones.
I find my salvation.
Apparently they got speakers for here and you can play mining sounds, but nobody's told me how to turn it on. All right guys, just really try and squeeze in. So basically this guy here, Robert, now when he was mining he would get paid 1 English shilling an hour, which was about 20 cents our money, okay? And he'd be under here, he wouldn't have the lamp or the lights, he would have a candle. There's a little candle over here.
Yeah.
He would have 3 or 4 of those around where he's working. He didn't make the shaft that tall when he was looking for a vein because it took so long to get in there, so they kept it as low as they could. Okay? If they burnt up high, there was enough oxygen. If they started going down, the oxygen was running out. And if it went blue, they had to either dig up into another, get out of course, dig up to another shaft and then get that way, or dig sideways into another shaft. Now this is a quartz vein here. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this, but anyway, there's a quartz vein here. That, when they hit the quartz vein, they would just follow that through, okay? And hopefully they would find gold. Vein here, okay?
Quartz.
That's your quartz vein running down here, the grey one. You get up there, shine it back, and have a look. Up this here? Yeah, yeah. Oh, you can have it. Okay, so above your head here, that's where the next shaft is, and it's only that far above us. And above that, there's another shaft. Out there?
That opens outside.
Yeah.
So they used to walk in dark, right?
They would have had
Candle probably.
well, they would have had candles. Yeah. I could go out and turn the lights off if you wanted authentic.
Yeah, we did that. We walked in the dark.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was very scary.
All right. So if you just carry on down there and try to explain to me.
What's the speaker up there?
That's what you meant to play sound. Mining sound.
අපි දැක්ක mines.
They were like back in the UK. It's faster than one of the coolest
තමයි edit.
එතනින් ඔන්න ඉතින් අපි gold mining එකට
අපි edit
It comes down and slides down into the stamper. The stamper then breaks it down. Come up this way. Yeah, so what happens is, this is your stamper, okay? Now, here we've got 5 stamps. There should be 20 stampers. And up in the hills, there were 47 other stamper places like this, so there were nearly 1,000 stampers. The Cornish miners were religious people, so basically they, 12 o'clock Saturday, they stopped work, 12 o'clock Sunday, they started work. And basically what happened is the town Thames couldn't sleep when they weren't running because it was too quiet. Now, when we started this up, you imagine the sound. Right, so what happened is your rocks would come through. Okay, if I talk too fast, or please tell me to slow down. The rocks come through, then they get crushed, and then they come into the stamper. You have rocks like this coming into the stamper. Okay, now that's your stamper head there. That's the steel thing there. Okay, and that's the stamper base. Okay, at the side. Now what would happen is they come through there, and water would wash across. You would start off with a breakdown, then it would end up into like a sand, okay? And that sand then would get washed across the top of the beds. On the first bed, they would have mercury, a thin layer of mercury. Mercury attracts the gold and the silver, okay? And that's what they do. That would flow over to the second bed, and the second bed would have this, which is a corduroy. So basically the corduroy would be there, and it's got grooves in it, and the gold and silver would sit in the grooves while the rest got washed across the top. Okay, and that would be two processes trying to catch the gold. So they would catch some there, the rest would come over the end, and it runs through a trough. There's troughs under here. It would run through a water trough, and it would come down to here, over to this here. These are your tables for catching more gold and silver. There's, in the grooves, when this starts up, where that brown line is, that's where the gold and silver would sit. Because gold and silver is heavy, so it would sit there. The tailing would get washed out, down into the sluice box, and out to sea. Okay? So basically what would happen there is, when I start up, you'll see the water running across. It would go here, this would be the first table, it would wash down this trough, and there's a water wheel over here. The water wheel would lift it up to the next table, and would go across the next table. The next table would hopefully catch what was left. They never caught it all, so it just got washed out to sea. So basically I'll start this up, there's earmuffs there. I would put them on, they're too split out, but when you listen to this, imagine if there were 20 in here. You know, the noise. Okay, I'll start that up and then start the water. Takes a little bit for the water to come across. The water is that's just to wash all the silver away and things like that. Hopefully that will lose all the gold and silver, but that is still mixed. came from Italy and they reused it again and again, okay? So basically what they did was there would be a guy there who would have 3 machines, the dang, and all day he was there with his hands waiting until it got to the right pace sort of thing so he could pull it out. Then he would bring it out, he would put it into a rag like this, and then he would, over a bowl, he would squeeze the mercury out. The mercury would run through there and he would catch quite a bit of mercury, okay? Because then that got put back into the bedang. They used mercury because that's how the gold, the silver and mercury all went solid and made it into plate. He would then bring it over to here. It'll be a little more closer. And basically what he would do, he'd bring it over to here. He would have, once he'd squeezed it all out, he would put something like that, which is gold, silver and a little bit of mercury still. He would put it into the furnace, okay? And then the coals would be lit, and there would be a handle here for blowing air in. He would heat this up to average about 800 degrees. The mercury would evaporate. The gold and silver wouldn't, but the mercury would evaporate. It would travel up this pipe and it would come down to here. This is like a water jacket that cools it down and turns it back into liquid again. The liquid would then, he would have a cloth across here, that would be under the water, and it would come down and he would catch the rest of the mercury. If you want to hand it around, just don't drop it. That's the mercury there. It's liquid mercury like you used to get in your teeth and things like that for the dentist. So basically once he got that, he would sit that back into the bedang and use it here. Right? Then he would be left without the mercury, same sort of thing, and he would put that into this and heat it up to 1,000 degrees or more. And then what he'd do, once he'd done that, he would take that off. He would have like a little pot like this in there. He would take that off and pour it into the crucifix. The crucifix then would go and they would tip it into the mould. They would have like tongs to hang on to because of course it was hot. And it would be tipped in there. And then we would end up, that's the original mould for this mine, okay? And he would end up something like that. That's lead, but that's, you know, if you want to hold on to it, it's fine, but it is heavy, mate. But that's half the weight of gold, of the gold bullion. Gold bullion, I've been told, is about 56 kilos. So basically, and that would be gold and silver still mixed, still there, okay? So what they'd do, this would be put on a sailing ship and sent to Sydney, and the Australians would separate the gold and the silver, okay? Because your mercury's gone, that's just gold and silver. They would separate it and they'd pay out on the percentage of the gold and the purity of the gold. Now, I don't know if my friend told you, the Caledonia mine was the richest mine in this area. I'm going to say 70% pure, and this one's 40%. She may say something different, I don't know. But this mine wasn't so as good as that one. And that pulled all the mines in this area, pulled New Zealand out of the recession in the 1930s. Okay? So that pulled us all out.
So this is also some...
I think it's just gold flakes, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
These ones?
This is stones.
Gold.